I'm very excited for EWC, man. I'm absolutely thrilled to watch EWC that is going to start in a few hours. But happiness is a very suspicious emotion to have in the great 2025, and it's rightfully so. Why? Because EWC is the final LAN event of the current calendar year, which means for the next 6 months, there are no Apex LAN events, man. That is pretty depressing. But anyway, that is exactly why I'm going to double down on my title and thumbnail and say, forget about hiring one therapist per team. Even if you hire one therapist per player, we are not going to solve the current crises and issues we have within teams. At the end of this tournament, I'm sure the tournament is going to be great. The match point finals, I pray to God the match point finals are going to be better than the open LAN event. But after the tournament, we're going to witness another huge wave of roster mania. And it has already started with Timmy announcing his retirement from Comp Apex. It is what it is. And when I said I'm going to double down and say just having a therapist is not going to help, where am I really coming from? What do I really mean when I say that? So I help people train. And a major portion of my work involves understanding concepts, right? I need to understand what the final version of a skill is going to look like on a player, and how do I construct a progressive ladder for them, right? That is most of my brainstorming. I spend my time brainstorming. Recently, there's this one concept I have been obsessed about: team chemistry. How do you design team chemistry? Right now in Apex, team chemistry is a skill that we don't know how to develop. I'm like, why is that? The way people team up is based on you either have to be cracked as fuck in what you do, or your personality has to match. And it is pretty difficult to build team chemistry. I came to a conclusion that it is impossible to attain common ground in Apex. In year 5 Apex, whatever evolution the game has gone through, we are still finding it extremely challenging to attain common ground. And that is why we're witnessing a lot of roster manias, right? And sometimes these brainstorming sessions can get a little too much, and the way I wind down is stepping away from the game. Step away from Apex and consume content from other sports, content from other movies, right? So I was watching chess content. I've been obsessed with chess content the past few weeks. And there was this one sentence that was resonating through every single piece of chess content. Let's say Magnus Carlsen or Hikaru Nakamura, the world number 1 and 2, are playing each other. I don't want to talk about Kukesh because I want to keep my content unbiased. But anyway, the one sentence is, Magnus Carlsen has attained really good positioning in the middle of the board. The question now comes down to, can he convert the positioning? Can he follow through on the attack? And when I heard that sentence, let me tell you, it flipped a switch. I'm like, this is the exact conversation that we do not understand how to handle. We don't understand how to have this conversation in Apex, in ALGS. Because why? Because intuition is not scalable. Now, these professional teams, these professional players, coaches and analysts have worked together amazingly well to actively develop language for the macro. The game plans, how do you tackle map-related puzzle problems, right? But when it comes to 57 other players and what they decide on, and your internal framework, your internal priority list based on your, a support player and a playmaker are going to have completely different priorities for each scenario, So I'm like, okay, that makes really good sense. That makes so much sense because after a certain point, you just can't rely on raw intuition. So maybe it is time to actively work on developing a language for these post-game conversations. So here's what we're going to do. You and me, we're going to sit here, look at a certain clip, and we're going to try and see how we can build towards a healthier post-game conversation. Okay. Now, full disclosure, I'm not claiming that I know about the game more than these two players, but I want to try and bring in fresh perspectives on how we can build better conversations. So let's watch.
He's portaling. He's portaling back to choke.
Right,
Nading,
right,
jumping out.
right, cracked. I'm batting.
One.
I'm batting.
He's over the wall.
I'm not me!
What
What are
he
you
is?
talking
Where he
about?
climbed.
Cracked on me.
And then they end up arguing for the rest of the clip, right? The reason why I wanted to view this clip is because they both actually have like 30 seconds. They spend 30 seconds talking about the actual scenario and they disagree with each other.
Fine.
No, it's not.
I held for 3 seconds. He's
No,
not
it's
even full
not.
HP.
No,
he
it was
climbs
not.
over the fence at the same
Yeah.
timing I do.
We're both
That's
healing.
just fucking unlucky.
We're both healing. Why are you running
I'm
in
holding
solo?
for you. The
Yeah,
guy
and
is
you ran away.
on the height left, and then the guy climbs over the wall at the same time I climb.
Exactly, and you fucking trying to chase him 1v1 while I'm fucking healing gets me
If
killed.
you do this again in another...
You see? So they're both right in their own ways, right? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. So what happens is, so we come in, the macro, the situation is this. So we have a long way to go to zone. There's one team that we need to clear. And towards the end game, you pretty much have to make sure you don't go down. You don't get knocked down. But that is fine. So we get a first knock, free first knock. And now this is the question I want you to ask yourself and ask. So this guy is the best player in the game, right? Take a look at how long it takes for him to start healing. And even when he finally heals, his teammate is almost done batting and he's healing in the open. When I frame things like this, it makes him look like a very bad player, right? When we focus on just that. Now we'll do it again, but this time I'm gonna reframe it in a different way, right? So we get the first knock. Now me and my teammate, two of us are cracked. I take flush damage, and I'm worried about this guy re-PK. I'm reloading my gun, get some new info, and I'm still worried about this guy re-PKing. If he re-peaks, I'll kill him and Zero can refrag. And take a look at even the way he pops his bat. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that this is the right place to bat, right? You can heal a couple different ways. You can completely crouch and sit behind cover, delete your presence, make the enemy find you while you're healing. Or you can heal it this way. The benefits of healing it this way, like where you're half inside cover and half out, is that you can always cancel this bat and shoot for your teammate, right? So that play only works. He can only heal here as long as Zero's over there. So in Hal's perspective, he's done everything right. I'm like, why am I getting punished for responding the usual ways I would respond, right? Where Zero just gets active. But let's think about Zero. Now your two teammates are healing, and you see one of them popping a bat. The other person should have ideally started batting around the same time. So he's like, I'm just gonna give you guys some time to heal. And he does give them, right? And only then he goes to make on a play. So it really comes down to Zero. Did you actually understand? Or did you know that Hal was not healing straight away and he was trying to punish the re-peak? Because if that is a question and Zero says no, then that is the adjustment we have to make and ask him, hey, are you always going to do this every single time? And then Hal's going to be like, yeah, I want you to not just hold me for 3 seconds. I want you to hold me until I'm done. And I want you to hold for me even if it takes 8 seconds or 12 seconds. Can you please hold for me? Don't just have this internal battery. Because as long as we hold and not make a play, we're going to be coming out on top, you know? And I think that is how a healthier post-game conversation can look like. But a conversation involves two players, right? It involves two people. You have to come together, understand each other's priorities, and then talk about what compromises or adjustments they need from your side. And now we can have a conversation. We can build team chemistry. But if we rely on only like, I have the right response for this scenario, and I want you to just copy my response and you will benefit the same way. And we developed all of it to intuition. His trial and error method, his 20,000 games, 40,000 games are completely different from your 20,000 games and 40,000 games. And what he values and his style of playing is completely different from yours. So there's no point in just screaming reasoning behind your decision and magically hoping for them to see that you're right, you know? So that is what I want to talk about in this video before we go and enjoy the tournament. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I hope we can have an amazing tournament that we can review like this.